All right, now I'm in the F-150 Lightning truck, and does it do the cut? This thing, isn't this such a long?
It's got a pretty darn good turning radius. Honestly, it's more like a little car SUV.
Yeah, but it's not as, I think, like what's crazy is the Super Duty. Super Duties have incredible turning radius. It's just crazy.
I will notice this truck makes a lot of clicky noises.
Clicky noise. What's that all about?
I don't know. You get it when you take your foot off of that gas. You hear it click. When you put your foot on the gas, you hear it make
his hearing.
See,
his hearing's incredible. He can hear the.
You'll be driving down the road, and all of a sudden you'll hear like door switches clicking or
really
something. I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Oh, you're noticing you walk up next to it when you're out of the truck and it's been sitting a while. You ever notice you walk up next to it? What happens?
Oh, it just lights up.
You know, but until you hear little noises.
It powers up. It's like auxiliary power. It is a little quirky, and they still this the media center is glitchy as all get out. It's constantly dropping your phone.
Really? So you think it's the media center, not 5G then?
Oh, the 5G network sucks as well, but these also is just too much. To me, it was the Mach-E did it too. The Mach-E GT was worse actually than this. Because some days you would just lock up completely and not let you use it.
There's the windshield crack.
Does have stupid acceleration.
And so here's the gentleman here that's riding around the black F-150 Lightning. So huge difference with the windows up. Power-wise, rock and rolls, right?
Silly power.
Are you using the? I'm surprised you're not using the hands-free driving.
I was. I just haven't pushed the button yet. There you go.
So how do you feel about that?
It is great when it's on, but can kick off whenever it feels like it.
And it doesn't tell you, does it?
It doesn't. It chimes one chime right as it goes off, but
it's very dangerous.
Very little to no warning. Yeah, if you're not paying attention, which obviously you should be, but if you're not, and it kicks off, you can get yourself in trouble real easily.
Yeah. So right now you don't trust it. You get your finger on the steering wheel.
Well, it holds the right side line, which I hate. If I'm in the left lane, I'm more towards the shoulder. If I'm in the right lane, I'm more towards the shoulder. I don't crowd people on the road, and this thing tends to either stick dead center of the lane, or like you see, it's coming up on this car. Well, it pushes right. It gets right up against him. It gets like right up on him. It's like that's complete, and then it pushes him over.
Yeah, but how about tractor trailers?
I mean, it's the same. It floats. It goes.
Do you think it's an optical illusion?
I think it's just they have the camera. They need maybe an additional. Maybe instead of one camera in the middle, they need two cameras on either side, because it seems to always be hunting for the lines, especially in wider laned roads. It has to, before it puts you in adaptive, from what I can tell, it has to find each sided line, and it makes you drift down the road trying to find the lines until it establishes them, and then it puts you on path. But until then, it can be very uneasy.
Yeah, but my understanding is these roads are mapped.
It's mapped, but it's still using visually the lines on the road to keep it in its lane.
Yeah, right. Now you just switched lanes, but then it turns off.
It turns off. It's still that new update you talked about hasn't come through yet.
Yeah, but once you get over the lane, it kicks back on.
After it, satisfies all the whatever priorities. I have noticed it doesn't always kick off. It's weird, but it seems to go out of hands-free as soon as you go over 80 miles an hour.
Oh, it kicks off after 80.
Yeah.
They don't want you driving this type of speeds hands-free.
Exactly. Which, I mean, on some highways, especially out in Texas and stuff, it's 75, 80 miles an hour. I mean,
so right now, right now.
That guy's in our lane.
So what was that all about?
That guy was in our lane. The guy, he was about to sideswipe, and the truck wanted to keep going. So
Yeah, so the hands-free is borderline delusional.
I mean, I don't know how it doesn't seem to sense the cars right next to you. Like it has an idea of them approaching and on after.
But them driving into you that doesn't.
But when they're like right next to you, it seems to struggle to position itself in the lane safely. Like that guy was 6 to 8 inches over the line, and I don't feel confident that it would have avoided him.
Yeah, and then there's the argument, the insurance company, who pays?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, when you drive this truck throughout the day, is your body less tired or more tired?
And these seats are, I will say, I agree with Tommy, these seats are not, they're too soft.
Not talking about the seats, I'm talking about
as far as
you have
getting in and out of
adaptive
it.
cruise control.
Oh, it does.
So you have the brake regen where you don't have to use one foot, right? So I'm talking more, not talking about the seating cover, I'm talking about more about the vehicle overtakes a lot of responsibilities. It gives you a little bit of breathing time.
Oh yeah, it makes you it does. It takes,
you would
it takes
beat
a
that.
lot of
You would beat that Charger.
Yeah, but it's too tight and it'll scream.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying it's funny how this truck here literally would launch faster than that Charger.
Yeah.
It's a 5.7 Charger, so.
Lucy agrees.
Hello there, puppy. Hello there. I got a little dog behind me. There she is. Look. Yeah. It's Hairball City. This is how my vehicles used to look. Hair everywhere. And there she comes. Yeah.
She knows how to ride a truck.
Yeah, she wants to smooch. She wants something.
Snackies.
What do you want?
Snackies.
Yeah, what do you want in there? Huh? What do you want in there? I used to ride around with a Dalmatian all the time. Back in the 90s, up until like 2006, 7. I lost my Dalmatian, but that dog went everywhere. Boats, trains, airplanes, not really, but trucks and cars and boats, ATVs, motorcycle. Yeah, put them in the back of my motorcycle, ride around. Yeah, right.
Lucy's afraid of your high horsepower cars.
Is she?
Oh yeah. I had
Interesting.
her for a ride one time in the Mustang GT, and she was scared to death.
Time with the Mach-E?
No, the GT Mustang. I rode her home. I was one day.
Yeah.
And she was terrified of that car.
I wonder why. What do you think that's
so
all about?
loud.
Yeah, was it the GT350 or a 500?
It might have been the GT350 actually.
Yeah, right. That Voodoo motor and exhaust. It's awesome until you get in 6th gear.
And it cuts out, right?
Yeah, it's the worst. Stupidest design in the world. You know, I'm doing my GT500 discussion. The Dodge Challenger, which I know some people are like, why do you waste your time doing that? Well, because I have 2 different vehicles, I just like to critique each one. And the GT500, to me, just has such an incredible exhaust and fun factor over the Challenger Hellcat. Yeah, but here's the typical Beltway, blah, 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 blah. Watch out here, and these guys are all there and over there.
Get down.
What do you got? Arnold on our ways?
Oh yeah, Arnold takes us to our destination.
Arnold, wow. Beautiful day. Wow.
It turned out to be a nice day. It's supposed to rain, but we got a little bit of that. Here come again.
Oh, got a policeman coming. Wow. There was a Jeep Grand Cherokee guy on 70 that nailed somebody, and it was a black Grand Cherokee that you would never guess was an undercover cop. I mean bad. When those people do that, I don't think they're in pursuit of anything.
Yeah, but he's got a siren on. He does.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're just kind of
responding to a call. Lights with no siren is typically just like a non-emergency response. Lights with siren is an emergency response.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a really good content here for us to irk others. Do I irk others? Don't do it intentionally, but I just kind of tell it the way it is. So the gentleman here next to me, Joe, he was so on the Rivian. I mean, sincerely, he in a Rivian. We were thinking about maybe even ordering a Rivian. And it's really interesting is you saw my video of me driving a Rivian. So, and for Joe here, he hasn't driven a Rivian. He kind of took my information. So do you honestly feel like if I would have gotten the Rivian you can accomplish what you're accomplishing out of this. I'm just kind of curious.
I think yes, but not as easily. I think you said it the best. The Rivian needs to be considered more of an adventure vehicle and less of a truck. Because like this is just an F-150. Like I can't. This thing it has so much storage, so much usability and user access, and all you said from the Rivian is there's not enough this and not enough that. The door pockets are too small. Like to work out of, it doesn't seem like a realistic work truck. Now I see the videos of all the guys like on the adventures with them who are like camping out of them, and you can just push a button and the suspension brings the entire truck level to no matter what terrain you're on. Now that's pretty cool if you've got a camper set up, and there's other little niche kind of options like that, like the air compressor and this and that, but it's toward for adventuring. It's not toward to really work out of. It's like they sell a kitchen sink with it, for God's sake. They don't sell a pull-out welding unit. Like there's other, I mean, if they really wanted to tailor it towards more of a work vehicle, then they would sell work-oriented utilities with it and extras, but they don't. So the F-150 seems to be the superior work truck.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's the thing.
Get the same miles per kilowatt in the end. I mean, even though the Rivian is a much smaller truck, it's the same miles per kilowatt. So.
Yeah, but I don't think it should be categorized as same, platform as a full-size truck. I just don't think it's a full-size truck.
Well, yeah, that's what like you said. It's like a Tacoma. It's a mid-size pickup.
Get down.
But more so an adventure vehicle, I think. And that might be its own classification in the coming years with a lot of these other, I forget what's that, is it the Mizu or the Yeezy, like that little, like, it almost looks like a chopped truck converted Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
It's all electric. That one's purely adventure oriented. There's so many, and then also there's Volkswagen was teasing the Dune buggy, all electric. Like there's so many adventure class vehicles coming to the market that are not really tailored to either working or just daily driving out of. They're just tailored just to go have fun and see the world in it. I think that's going to become a whole nother electric vehicle market.
Get down.
What does that guy say? Get down?
Yeah, he said there's a vehicle stopped ahead. Get down.
What's to get down? I mean, slow down?
Oh, get down. Like slow down. Yeah. You remember he said, I think, isn't that from, he takes a lot of his characters on in this one. I think the get down is more from, when he played in the Vietnam, he's in the rice fields or something. I forget what movie that was.
Predator?
Was it Predator?
Yeah.
I think that is from Predator.
Yeah. He's in the swamp.
Yeah.
He's in the swamp. He's the militia.
This is like, it's not any one movie to me. It's a combination of like Kindergarten Cop meets like the Predator meets Arnold meets Terminator.
Yeah. Right.
Can't beat the one pedal driving on these cars though, realistically. I've driven hours and never touched the brake once.
Oh, I know. It's just fun. I mean, that's what I was, saying is, I think this vehicle, when you work out of it all day long and you do 150, 200 mile runs, I just think that your body isn't as tired because the vehicle does things for you to help, take away.
It's not so much, it's the long driving, like the long distance driving, and it's the traffic that really just tears you up mentally more so than physically. Because you gotta be attentive at every moment, and you're taking in so many visual cues and having to relay them.
So is the truck on adaptive right now?
No, I'm just driving it because we're in traffic. I don't really trust it.
Okay.
It does I have seen the crash avoidance is pretty. I did tone it down a little bit. What the hell was that for? I did tone it down a little bit because it was a little aggressive.
What are you talking about, the adaptive?
The crash avoidance was fairly aggressive, and you can just go in and you can lighten it a little bit.
So you're saying on the settings you can go to crash avoidance and have it medium,
Yeah, it comes as like medium or normal. You can do it light or extreme, basically. I just put it on light because
around here people are constantly cutting you off.
Yeah, it's a constant sound you hear, warning that you're about to die.
Right. So what would be the things that you would change about this vehicle? I know what you're gonna say, but I'd like to hear what you're gonna say.
Well, I will say that this truck is, from once it over, it's not made for the mod market, the tuner guys. Like it's gonna be very hard without doing severe, like serious modifications to get into like lowering it. I saw you're gonna have to chop the stops on the frame. You could get maybe an inch lower on it, but anything more than that is just not gonna happen. Which this truck would look pretty bad, I think, if it was sitting right on the ground. But in the same extent, I think you could raise them pretty easily. But then, like you see the guys, you see immediate loss in kilowatt hours, and then how much more efficient are you than a gas or diesel vehicle in the end? Would you be better off?
Yeah, well, right. But without the mods, I think I heard you saying the seats aren't that great.
Yeah, our buddy Tommy, who just got an F150 or F250, made mention of that. And I do notice that it's the Mach-E, with it being a performance car. The foam is much stiffer.
It's like Recaro setup.
Yeah, it's like a Recaro, exactly. It's much more stiff bolstering, and you feel the support. And in these F-150 Lariats, it's just like it's nice, but yeah. Wait until I get the line back. It's nice, but it's too soft. It's just not supportive. Even
all right, so
supportive.
For the average consumer, though, if you're an individual critiquing this truck right now, I mean, forget the mods. So as far as you're not excited,
if you're looking for, I mean, it's $100,000 work truck, so it's like it's going to take a niche kind of guy for this, because it's like
well, yeah, but they have the $50,000, $40,000 Pro. What I'm saying though to you gave the Rivian example of the air ride suspension, the lowering air compressor on board, blah blah blah. What I'm saying to you is, if you could make anything Ford aware of how they can make this truck even more, really cool, what would you say? What would make this truck even more cooler? And I'm not talking about, the aftermarket.
It does surprise me for the price, especially in the Lariat, that it doesn't have air ride suspension or electronic, or even it doesn't even seem to have like the Magna Ride or any sort of technology on that. On that, also the headrest, it's like you spend that much money on the Lariat, and it's got the locked headrest, so your head's constantly like this. You can't straighten out. So a lot of little things when you spend that money on these higher end versions, you think you get a little extra, but you're really not. It's unfortunate.
All right, so we're hearing the seat isn't comfortable, the headrest. I'm hearing those two things. The air ride, which I agree, an air ride suspension would be more appropriate.
You get an air compressor if you did that, which would be nice to have in any realm, any guy. But with it being an F-150, if you put an air compressor on here, and man, if you had something that had like 3 outlets for like your typical like framing guy, or if you're able to eliminate an air compressor as a heavy framer or like a finish nailer and just running hoses off your truck, that's huge. That's awesome. That's cool as hell. That's what you got to think of, is like tailoring these trucks to fit the market that you're capturing. And Ford's done a good job with that on their commercial end for years, but I'm sure we'll start seeing it on the electric end. But like, can you take the bed off these F-150s and put rollouts and like a welding box or a flatbed? Could you? What sort of availability is on that, or is the bed welded to the batteries, welded to the frame, everything one? So it's just time will tell.
Right. And as far as the ride goes, though, the biggest thing I feel is it's a lot of truck, and it's like a spongy ride.
It is soft. What we saw, it's like 750 pounds heavier than a Raptor, and it's just on your traditional coilover. They do look fairly.
So here's a question: is this all-wheel drive? or rear or drive? What is this?
All wheel, but it does seem to be predominantly rear wheel. Because when you get into it, you always hear the rear wheels chirp. But I have noticed, and I did read a review very early on this truck, which I do notice is that a majority of your front wheel power goes to the front left wheel for some reason. Because you will feel this thing pull to the left every time you nail it, and it, like when you do a hard acceleration, it will pull you to that left wheel, like almost kind of like the old cars of the where you get the torque steering, or
watch your camera picture guy up here.
got the Mercedes.
Looks like he's working on it. No, get the windows, set the doors open. Yeah, but overall, if somebody was to look at you and say, well, is it worth buying one of these? And forget the money factor, just as far as the overall truck, what would you tell somebody to look to you and say,
it's a very cool, fun truck for sure. Does it have, could they have done it better? Yeah, but it's just Ford. They could always do a little bit better. They're just all about their little minute improvements along the way. And yeah, it is incredibly fast. I do love that the differentiation of the light bar across the front, kind of making a little difference. But I do love that they kept the F-150 truck nostalgia to it. They didn't try and break the mold so much with like the Tesla truck that just looks like a Matchbox car that you would have played with as a kid,
or like the Rivian where you got to go to the screen to operate everything.
Yeah, that's a little.
It's too Tesla copycatted.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, what I like about Ford product is you still feel like you're just getting a gasoline engine Ford truck.
And also, it scares me, these vehicles that come on the market that are all electric and they have no all electric locks, all electronic windows. Everything is electronic, and I think I sent you that story of the Tesla family getting in an accident and not being able to open the doors and just burning up because everything's electric. And I mean, I don't know that there's a fail-safe on Teslas. I mean, to me, if you get in a severe accident, you think that just every door would just open up automatically on a car like that with it being electric.
Well, you should have just a conventional regular door handle to open it.
Like the Ford, that's why I feel confident that you have mechanical doors still. Everything's still mechanical. They've just incorporated this nuance of electrical into it that kind of...
Right. And that's why the Rivian, it's all electronic to open the door. You don't have a conventional, like we just said, mechanical door latch.
Yeah, which is scary.
Just too much. I talked about the other day, technology. Too much technology. I mean, I think we're more than ever in our society, especially if us, ice heads, that there's just too much. We don't want all of it. It's overkill.
And it has trouble running it. You can tell a lot of these cars, at least in the Ford, unfortunately, it's like I don't think their firmware, they need to update their firmware because it is very glitchy. And we've noticed that for years now on the interface between, at least I don't know if it's better with Android, but with Apple, it is very glitchy. You're constantly dropping the phone. You constantly have to fight for and I even deleted your phone out of it. I'm thinking that it would help a little bit, the Bluetooth settings, but it really, even you'll have it plugged in sometimes and it'll just drop the Waze off the screen. It's just, they're quirky. There's a cone right in the middle of the road.
So would you have confidence of this going on a long trip without towing?
I would take it to Pittsburgh and back, but...
Would you go to Florida in it? 1,000 miles. It's a 1,000-mile ride.
Yeah, so that means you.
Have you ever even plugged in, just for the heck of it,
No.
Pittsburgh's route?
Yeah, it's 270 miles. It would maybe make it there on one charge. To my grandmother.
But then it would take a whole day to recharge it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't have. Unless you have the supercharger.
Well, you have to go to a supercharge station up there. She's not going to have one.
Yeah, there's a Sheetz like right down the hill.
But is it a Tesla or is it Electrify America?
That's the kicker, which is still such nonsense that they do that. That Tesla won't open up their electric stations for everyone.
Right.
I mean, it's nonsense that the states haven't allowed. It's like the American people paid for that grid. Or I mean, yeah, we pay it's on our backs more or less. I mean, yes, he did pay it off. I've seen the interview. He paid it the interest. He paid it off early, so he didn't even have to pay off the full amount. Blah 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 blah. But it's just it's supposed to be. Where's our $35,000 electric car? And where's our electric grid to power these cars? It's like you said, unless you got a Tesla, you really don't have the availability to travel quite yet. And I have told that to people too.
Yeah, it's all about the money, which Elon always capitalizes and gets the money in the end. That's kind of how it plays out. The guy's definitely a genius on that part. You know, don't agree with how he approaches things a lot of times, but the guy does. He wins. Look at that, just never-ending traffic, accidents. Is this shooting you off a different road? No, it isn't.
I thought it was going to, because I can.
You're right. No, it's construction. I thought this other day I was up in this area, and it's just beyond believable the amount of construction.
Is that right lane?
It just doesn't end.
Up here, yeah, it's been going for a while.
I mean, it's just incredible.
Major infrastructure up here.
Forever. Right. Now I'm hearing Joe's saying there's too much storage.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of storage. I mean, you got your 2 glove compartments, you got a massive center console, you got the storage up front, you got 2 door compartments, you got the little compartment that actually is quite large that you're in the middle. You got the front dashboard, you got the under the seat in the rear, you got behind that the frunk, you got the compartment under the frunk, like, and then if you do like you did and you get the bed boxes, you could potentially have 2 more of those. Like, geez Louise, it's, yeah, you could have a box for every day of the week.
Yeah, I like it. Rather have more than less. Look at this. This traffic's all locked down. All the New Yorkers been going to Philadelphia. 95, just never ending.
But luckily we always miss this because this is where the traffic's.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying that in general, it's just incredible on how, you know, this Route 95.
Am I in the right lane or do we need to get over?
Same story. And, you know, if you try to get to New York, more like yikes. I wouldn't do that. You gotta.
No, I do need to get over one.
Well, no, you want to take the right hand. Well, you can. You can do doubles. It's a double. But stay right, because if you go straight, you get stuck on the road and have to go through the lights.
Yeah, because it doesn't go through.
Yeah, but you can stay in the right lane.
Yeah.
Left, right, I should say.
Yes, where it always locks down.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Going to New York, can you even imagine? Yikes.
Keep left.
There's another thing that I talk about. So the color, you know, the black. I mean, a black truck in general is a good looking truck, but I think that you would rather have the antimatter.
Well, I read smoked quartz would have been my first choice. That thing looks. I still haven't seen even one of those for sale or in public yet.
Yeah, the smoked quartz they took away.
They look.
Couldn't order it.
Amazing, but the with the antimatter blue, yeah.
But it looks so black.
Black trucks are just it already, you can tell. I've already had to check it. The way the water beads on it, it looks like scratch marks when you walk up to it because it's got the dirt beads in such fine lines. You have to like walk up to it and run your finger over it to check it, see if it's not a scratch.
Well, the real question is, how does Lucy like the truck?
She needs a bed. It's too big for her. She's used to that little FJ back seat. She's got too much space back there. She doesn't know what to do. She does like the full windows. That's actually, it's one of the first trucks I've seen that doesn't have the stop. Lucy, get in the truck. Doesn't have the stop for the windows for the child's protection.
Yeah.
Lucy, get in the truck.
Well, put the window back up and that'll change that. She's there. She's there. Have you had the big window all the way open yet? Have you done that?
Yeah, up the top.
Have you done this window?
Yeah, it's actually normally I have it closed though because it gets actually pretty hot in here.
Oh yeah, exactly, for sure.
It definitely makes a huge difference having that moonroof closed.
Right. That's what's weird with those Mach-E's. They don't have that filter. besides the tinted
Oh,
glass.
I know, it's the worst. It's the worst. Yeah, because there's sometimes you're in driving situations where you can't get the sun out of your eyes.
Right.
And it's a little silly. I mean, it wasn't the best thought out. I love how Audi's doing that roof now, but they have the electronic dimmer switch, more or less, where you can literally set the level of tint on your roof electronically, and the glass has that film blown into it now, or put onto it. I forget. It takes like it's just a low electric voltage to the film in the glass or on top of the glass, and it can create any variant of opaque
Shade.
transparent, translucent.
Yeah.
Do we want to go to
Joe here is talking about how this truck looks just like a regular old F-150 truck without looking at the front end grill. You don't know it's electric. Think it's gas. So Joe's smoking all these guys that think it's just a regular old putt down the road.
Good job of making a sleeper, kind of a sleeper. It's it just looks like you're running a mill F-150 from behind or even up next to it. It's not really until you get right up in front of it that you can tell.
Have you used the stop and go adaptive much?
I did notice it turned itself. I noticed that for the first time the other day. But,
Well, it turns off for like 5 seconds.
No, actually, it was like 30.
Really? It stayed on that long?
Just held and just said, yeah, it was.
Wow.
It had some special note that I've never seen before. It said like auto restart or auto.
Turn
I
left.
forget now. It's been like a week since I used that feature, but here comes. I knew he was going to do
So
that.
here comes the guys. I've been preaching for 30 years. You fight for the front, you fight for the back. You know, in these metropolitan areas, it's always a fight for the space. So yeah, so there's a F-150 truck. Went for us having the unique back tailgate light, and you know the front grill. You know, you don't really equate this with an electric vehicle.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple people that have seen it, and I say it's electric, and it doesn't compute. It just literally doesn't compute with them. And it's not until like you open the frunk and they're like, "Where's the engine?" and they're like, "Oh, this is an electric truck." And actually, the guys at Shady Grove Exxon were like,
they're saying it's an Indian. It shows on my Ford Mach-E. I got Indian motorcycle stickers on my car, and he'll run into people, and the person's like, "Is that an Indian car?" Because Ford's Mustang GT, or I should say the Mach-E, it doesn't have a really good presence of its being a Ford.
No, it looks European. It drives European. It's.
Are you missing the Mach-E over this?
I will say my body probably doesn't, even though it's not quite as comfortable. I'd say the Mach-E is actually, honestly, probably a little bit more comfortable, but this is 10 times easier to get in and out of. So you got that, and it's 10 times easier to work out of. So
Well, but you have the sit up. To me, you sit up so much higher.
But yeah,
You just see the. You know what I mean?
I'm not the type of person that needs to sit up higher, because I pay attention to the cars that are in front of me more so, and I don't like to sit behind cars where I can't see in front of them. So
just get around.
I just get around, yeah. So the sitting up high really doesn't bother me. I'm actually, I'm a fan of the hot hatchbacks and the Golfs and the.
He wants to do
GTRs,
Toyota Corolla GTR or whatever
the
it is.
the Corolla GR. Like, I like that. I still wish that I had gotten that Volkswagen TDI, or wish they had brought that to the States. A diesel.
Yeah. But so did you ever put a order? Tried you to put an order into a dealer just for the heck of it?
I have. They weren't accepting orders yet. I already did.
What about Leesburg Toyota?
I haven't tried them yet.
I would. I mean, one thing is sure, put your name on it, guarantee you they'll be happy if you walk away from it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's definitely going to be it's an awesome car. It's basically it's just taking everything that they've learned from their rally end and kind of incorporate it into a street car with it sounds like it's got the same differential in the rear as the front, because you can completely select all the whether you want 60-40, 50-50, or 70-30 split on the differential.
When I ride around in vehicles and I'm just so fixated on driving, to me, right now it's crazy. So look at this side pocket. You know, I didn't have that F-150 Lightning long, but my Raptor. So here's a side pocket for your phone. Here's a side pocket for your phone. I mean, there's just so many things that this truck has that just makes it so much more just so user friendly.
Right? You know that a lot of people goof on the collapsible shifter column, but honestly, it's pretty useful if you're stopped and having lunch, or you want to take notes or something. I mean, being able to flip this whole thing down and having a massive either work area or just dining area is just it's a really nice convenience.
Well, I know it's really just a mobile. It's a mobile, you know. It's a rolling computer to a degree. I said that a long time ago, being that you can take this vehicle up into the woods, and if you manage your power correctly, you could power your little cabin, which is basic lights and just basic things, you know, and you could be up in the woods for the weekend, and you know, if you've got computer capability, borderline, I guess.
What's it, 3 days, fully power house?
Well, that's with, you know, limited circuit breakers, you know, you're not gonna. So then that's interesting. Look at that. Oh, you know, I've always seen this place on the internet, so they closed that up. Wonder where Pete's Motorcycles went off to. That's funny.
Turn right.
I mean, that's so interesting. I've never been up this side of the town, and never knew Pete's Motorcycles had a Bel Air location. So that's very interesting. First, it's right over there. You too can own the Ghost Busters look-alike Hearst. It's got racing seats in it, racing motor. Go do burnouts. Yikes. Eerie. This is where the aggravation begins, which I've experienced this. You can't get the Apple Play to populate.
And then once you do get to populate, they won't pull in the CarPlay.
You have to go to. You got to go to the other one. You're hitting the wrong button.
No, I hit connecting to Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, but there's two different ones.
Yeah, one's their Bluetooth, one's.
So what I've done is you unplug it. It actually works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see if that happens.
1 mile. Make a U-turn.
So
the thing is, I'm not even connected via.
And it's still talking to you.
Yeah. See, I gotta do this. I gotta like.
Oh yeah, it's so aggravating. As you're.
Yeah, no hands-free driving, right? Yeah.
So no, you're hitting the wrong button.
No, connect to Apple.
No, you got to go up to. Okay, all right, you got it. This is funny. It's sort of, I mean, Charlie, it just doesn't end. All right, so right now Joe's saying, hey, we're getting 2.1 miles per kilowatt. Coming up here, you get 1.9.
Yeah.
You know, so is this 130? What is it? 131 kilowatt? 134? What is a kilowatt? Do you even know?
No, I don't even know.
Yeah, see, it's just too much damn technology, too much information. So, you know, but here's the thing. We kind of know the numbers because this thing goes about 300 miles. So obviously it's 130 kilowatt. So in the back roads, stop and go traffic, is it like three? Or is it 4? Have you ever seen a 4?
It's almost 3. It's like 2.9.
Right.
But yeah, I bet you if you're, it's as soon as you go above 55 miles an hour, it just.
Right. So the park thing, what's the park thing there?
Oh, you can't do that unless I'm in parking. But it'll parallel park for you, pull in for you.
Really?
Yeah, it'll do all the basic forms of parking for you.
Yeah, but I mean, I know the parallel parking, but what other parking are you talking about?
It'll pull into like tight spots where you don't feel like you're.
Really?
Yeah, it'll pull.
I didn't know that. So you're saying if you're at a shopping center and you want to get in a parking spot, this will automatically go forward and backward to put you in the spot?
Yeah.
You've done that?
No, but it's an option.
Really?
There's three different. I can't remember. There's a parallel, like 2 forms of normal parking.
Wow. What about backing up?
Back it up, you just hit the cameras. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's why I'm kind of curious. I didn't really pay attention to it.
I've never used it on this thing, but that does. I'm just speaking from the Mach-E GT. But the Mach-E GT will do all the parkings for you.
Right. And then, yep. Oh yeah. The one in the pillar. There's one in the door pillar, and there's one in the front there's another one up there. Camera. You know that?
Where?
It's right here.
Oh yeah.
So you got 3 things watching you.
Yeah.
Can't escape.
Ford sitting there.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like, what was the movie with the wild man guy? Baldy little guy used to take over the world. Former Saturday Night Live actor guy.
Yeah.
You know, that did this. Look, he did this.
Yeah, Mr. Dr. Evil.
Yeah, Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil's sitting behind a computer watching you right now to figure out how he's going to kill you.
It's more likely that she was some 8-year-old Chinese kid. They're creating a profile on every blue-blooded American. That's going to be an issue for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're raising.
Oh, I was talking about that this morning. That do you realize now Navy, the Chinese Navy has the biggest Navy fleet yet. They're the bigger. Their fleet is bigger than ours now. Their technology isn't better than ours, but their fleet, is bigger than ours. And I was telling people,
but I think a lot of the ships in that fleet are pretty archaic, from what I've read. Like, they do have some pretty cool stuff, and it is larger than anything. But if push came to shove, it would never ever compete with what we have.
Right. But, you know, I was saying in my video this morning that, you know, China's goal by 2050 is to be the supreme power of the world.
Hegemon.
Say what?
Hegemon.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, their goal is to tell you and I what to do. Yeah. Aren't they already doing that?
Well, it's,
yeah, right.
just with all those battery weights and everything being so low and not having an engine, so much masking in the front and everything, you definitely can't notice the weight difference in that. It definitely handles a little bit better, more like an SUV.
What for the rolling effect of it, this thing can be pretty badass. Too bad the suspension can be taut.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a rolling effect. I think it just gives you an illusion of the rolling effect. Have you seen the swing arms on this thing?
Oh yeah.
They're like the size of they're like a train. They're
Yeah.
solid casted aluminum, massive. I mean, they look like they're off the F250 or F350. I mean, it still has that dinky F150 frame, because nothing compares to those 3,500 Rams that look like they're built on a structural I-beam from a commercial business complex or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, the only thing I notice for this truck is when you go into the corners or you go through the hard bumps, to me it floats around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they could do a better job
But
on the suspension that would stiffen that up. You could probably change out the shocks, maybe. I don't know.
That would, yeah. The shocks and the springs would probably solve a lot of that, because they're just trying. They try and find when they sell the car, they want the most comfort mixed with sport. They're not looking for like what your particular driver's style is, whether it's strictly sport kind of driving or you're just a leisurely old guy running errands.
Well, yeah, right. But I go back to what I said to this truck when I first got it was, this is the truck. You know, this goes back to realistically the foundation of the truck. I mean, who bought a F-150 truck 20 years ago and it was some performance-oriented, work truck? It drove down the road like a truck.
Though, but it does have the Lightning designation, which the Lightning designation has kind of drawn a more performance-oriented crowd, which this truck kind of, in that genre, can kind of miss the mark, because your Lightning performance-oriented guys are not going to be electric guys. And then you're asking someone to spend $80,000 or $80,000 or even $100,000 on a Lightning, but it's not the Lightnings that you've grown up with and become accustomed to, and it's nothing like them whatsoever, realistically.
That'd be a good comparison: the Rivian and the Jeep Gladiator. Well, that's the same size,
and they're both adventure style vehicles.
Yeah, that would be the more.
Jeep comes out with is the Gladiator? I know they're doing the Wrangler electric. Are they doing a Gladiator electric?
Oh, I'm sure they will. Yeah, I mean, Stellantis is going all electric, so all the non-heavy duty vehicles will be electric. There's no doubt. The Ram 1500, they've already announced the concept, shown the concept. And so here's stop traffic. What's so cool with this truck, I mean, the danger of this truck is it'll stop, but will the guy behind you stop?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, to me, the braking power in this thing is incredible.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's.
I mean, for the amount of material it's going down the road, it's phenomenal. Something's just going up here on the right-hand side. I just stay here. Your left, right lanes need to get locked down. The left lane's your ticket.
Normally the far right.
Well, the right lane's a far exit only, so be careful.
Yeah, what happened here? Accident.
And it's typical. See here, it's typical. You know, same old thing. It's the beltway that
all the way.
guys are out here working on the beltway. And it just doesn't end.
You
It's
just turn the adaptive on.
right. You just turn the adaptive on right now. You
Forget
just,
about life.
yeah. So yeah, there you go. So now, but now it doesn't steer itself
Not yet, but it will.
at the low speeds.
Once it finds the lane.
But it tells you to put your hands on it too.
Well, I've noticed realistically, you don't even have to put your hand on it. As long as you pin your knee to it,
Really,
you don't have to.
it
touch
fools it.
Yeah.
So it feels sensors.
Yeah, you just
Feels
gotta,
you moving the wheel
you just got to
around.
keep the pressure on the wheel.
I thought it was more about the infrared.
No, the infrared is about your eyes, your head position. But
They're gonna do a stripe across the front windshield.
I mean, now it kind of sucks to do that.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could use it. I'm tall enough to where that doesn't really affect me though.
Gotta get the windows tinted. Cool about the technology, even though I talked about too much technology. So now the truck can stop and go traffic, and here it is. So if you use an individual, as long as you keep your head's got to be straight, because this camera, that infrared's watching you. But right now, you know, what's really cool is, but let's see when it comes to a stop, a complete stop. I thought after 3 to 5 seconds, you have to hit the resume thing.
Not on this one. It'll go into auto resume. That's what it says, I think.
Really?
It'll say auto resume.
I haven't seen that before. Here's a Ram. Nice looking truck right there. You have exhaust. Yes, that's a nice Ram. See, there you go. Piped. Yeah. That guy's passion's right there. That's all about him. So do we actually come to complete stop to be able to show others how this works? But right now, no, foot and brakes. This is where you're, driving. This takes so much relaxing. This gives you a breather. Yeah, this makes it so much easier to not get so aggravated with your foot and brake, foot, brake, yeah, I should say push and brake, right? So, and you're shooting out. Where are you? You want to shoot out, so it'll turn off. So the hands free is turned off. Does it come back? There it is. It's back. So an accident or something up here. Somebody's car stalled.
Yeah, the car broke down.
I don't know. I can't tell. This big tractor trailer here is totally made it. Oh, yeah. So a guy's broken down in the truck. Yeah. So here we go. So let's see. So you hold the steering wheel though. You don't trust it. You don't trust it.
Well, you can see it'll start to float back and forth.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. This person here is left lane hog, or are they? See, there it is. I mean, that's just, who would have imagined? Who would have imagined that, this is driving down the road. Dangerous, a long trip, my Ford F-150 Tremor gas truck, where you can go 500 miles in one tank.
The danger
you go to sleep. You fall asleep.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I hear. I'm going to test that right now. I'm going to close my eyes and see.
Oh, no way, man.
You just keep an eye on
Oh,
it.
gee, this is comforting. That's a car sitting there on the shoulder of the road.
There, my eyes are closed. Can it
won't
see
know.
my closed eyes?
No, it won't. It's your head position. Okay, so nod your head down like you fell asleep. So you put your head down like you fell asleep. Let's see what happens there. Now that's not good. Oh, it did. It picked it up. It picked it up. You probably ran off the road and died.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's classic. Yeah, I mean, no lie. When I took the F-150 Tremor truck on a long road trip, oh my gosh, man, it was dangerous.
I was curious if
You
you
know,
could see your eyes because I
No.
was
It's your head.
So yeah,
It's your head.
position.
Because if I see your eye, you can wear sunglasses.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
just rambling.
We got a guy, we got a Ram guy who wanted to do 100 miles an hour by us. Let's watch this.
Julie.
Yeah, and his dually. Let's see if he can. Nah, he's not coming up. So yeah, and that's what I talk about. Is I don't trust that, man. I mean, and it's so dangerous. Long road trip, you not off.
Yeah.
You will not off.
Just at night when night falls.
And then it doesn't give you the alert. That's a good looking truck.
It does eventually. You see.
Yeah, but it's too late. You're gonna have to
It
get
starts
over.
to shake the wheel. It starts to shudder the brakes on you.
Oh yeah, it starts getting nasty with you, but at the same time, he's definitely get over because it gets crazy up here. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very dangerous. It doesn't have like an alarm. It does not alarm you, and that turns off.
Well, that's like where actually that's one of the times like where the Chevy truck kind of maybe actually might be a little bit better because that ass vibrator that the Chevy trucks.
Oh yeah, remember the Chevy Suburban?
When
Chevy
the lane departure.
Yeah, right.
That actually would kind of wake you up a little bit because
Well, that would be a good idea. That should be a good. That's a great idea. They should have put that in this.
But that's probably it's proprietary because this one does do the little like.
Yeah. Well, it jerks. Then it starts jerking back and forth.
Yeah, it just starts.
It starts doing the brakes to wake you up.
Yeah.
But now I think, sadly, I think you're going to hear of people dying behind the wheel of these trucks
Exit right.
because it doesn't alert you that it goes off that easily. It's not that. If for a person that's hard hearing, you'd never know.
Yeah.
All right, going back to Baltimore, Coons Baltimore Ford, and got to get the 30-day tag officially for the truck. Got to get my GT500 as we're doing burnouts to the Ferris Bueller's Day thing. The mechanics right now are driving around the GT500,
Right.
doing burnouts and having fun, and hoping by the time I get back, it's parked and all clean and just has an extra ton of miles on it. That same regular lane.
Turn right.
So that truck there, if they had that sitting in Coons, Baltimore Ford, that'd be dangerous. I'd be like, yeah, let me get another Ram 3500 dually. It's all done up already. Oh no, don't do it. Can I escape? Yikes. All right, looks like they got her all done. I didn't even know it was my car walking up. Let's just think, I think it looks pretty good. I like it.